Stop reading books, stop watching documentaries, stop hiring more services, coaches, people, all which are disguises for you not to actually do the work. I'm curious when that's gonna happen, because that has been fascinating to me. I think the thing that I am most proud of and that I spend a ton of time on, and you guys have heard it from me, and I don't know if you think I'm doing it because I think it's funny. I love when people stop watching me. I like when people hit me up and go, Garyvee, now I'm not watching you anymore. And then I go to their Instagram account 3 weeks later, because you guys know I'm weird, I do that kind of stuff. And then they're just watching somebody else. I'm like, no, you missed the point. Yeah, the point is, doing is the only option. Doing is the only option. It's the only way to win. Work ethic is the main thing that everybody in this room controls. You're not gonna control your talent. You're not gonna control your charisma. You're not gonna control your looks. You're really not. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you can make all those things a little bit better, but you're gonna only max them out. It's the work ethic A that makes them all a little bit better. It is the most controllable aspect of your life and your career, and it's the thing that most people don't want to do. As a lot of you know who've been following me a long time, 3 years ago I decided to take care of my health, and I've gotten those benefits. Like, it wasn't easy, I didn't want to do it. I didn't do it for 35 years of my life. I came up with every excuse of why. I'm busier than I've ever been, and I do it more than I've ever done before. So the excuses are the excuses, and we all have them in different parts of our lives. The fact of the matter is, building a meaningful business, something that you can live your life on, no matter what your needs are. Even call it $100,000 of profit in a year to allow you to live a really great life if you don't let yourself dream of like trillions of dollars. Even that is difficult. Because if it wasn't, the math would play out differently. There's a reason that the top 1% of earners in the entire country, and taking all the billionaires, you're talking about $400,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Yet, nobody even starts a conversation of success lower than $1 million. Yet 400,000, data, math, 400,000 is the bottom of the top 1% of earners in this country. Even if we just change the conversation to, I want to make $400,000 a year, it would change your behavior, because so many people in their goals to achieve these great big businesses become impatient, are looking for shortcuts, and want it to happen quickly, which means, and I know this, which means you just start doing stuff that you don't feel good about. I've seen it in the thousands of employees I've had, which is the closer they are to the sun, the harder they work. And I'm like, aha. And so I definitely feel like I learned hard work by watching my parents. And so it's why I talk so much about hustle.
Because it's one of the things that people can actually adjust and turn to.
I watch people give advice completely predicated on natural talent and DNA, and I'm like, look, I get it. I can throw a football every day for 9 hours a day. I'm just not physically built to be competitive at the highest levels. So yeah, I do think, if anybody watching right now, if there's anything they take away, it's look, you're gonna only be so pretty, you're only gonna be so smart, there's things that are gonna be natural, and then there's things that you can actually control. I do believe, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, I don't, but I do believe that work ethic is a taught behavior. It's something you do have more control over. And yeah, I think, and you know what really sealed the deal for me? Getting healthier. I was 38 years old and it didn't come natural to me. It didn't come natural to me at all. I hate the gym. I hate it now. I hate it, I don't like it, I don't want to do it. But I knew it was important. And somewhere around midway through being 38 years old, I got serious, I figured out my system, I made the financial commitment, and I've won, right? And I'll never lose again, because the system was I needed to be accountable to another human being. So it was about Mike and now Jordan, whoever else is my trainer. I'm doing it almost weirdly more to not let them down and so that was this shift. And so I feel like there's a shift that can make people work harder. To me, life is broken down into complaining and not. So if you're not complaining, well then I have no advice for you. I'm pumped. You did it. I have friends who make $42,000 a year, work 9 to 4, kind of, with an hour and a half lunch and 45 minutes of YouTube and 10 minutes of bullshitting and an hour of complete wasted time in a meeting. So they're kind of working like 6, hours a week, right? But they're pumped.
Right.
And they text me, these are high school friends, and they'll text me like how happy they are to be the coach of their kids' baseball team. And like that's amazing. Like that seems very obvious to me. Like that's right. Like, what's super weird? I'm actually weirdly envious. It sounds cool, like in theory, right? Grass is always greener, right? Like far less pressure, like all that time with my kids, oof, that would be cool. Like there's just like all these things that I can justify. So to me, but I have friends who have $100 million in the bank because of Facebook's IPO, who complain, who are still hungry, who want to do even more, who will complain to me because they know I work a lot about no work-life balance and they don't get to spend enough time with their family. And I'm like, you have $100 million. Like you could stay home, like you're in control. Like don't complain about it. You've made that choice. Don't bullshit me. Like you want to spend more time with your family? Spend more time with your family. This is back to what we said about keyboard warriors. I'm trying to be very careful about what I'm saying versus what I'm doing, because that's how you get exposed. And I don't mean like people calling you out and being like, you suck. I mean to yourself. I don't want to be exposed by myself. It's looking yourself in the mirror and saying like, am I doing this right? So to me, there's so many people that are talking shit about how big of an entrepreneur they're gonna be and how much they're gonna achieve, and they don't work on weekends. I worked every Saturday of my 20s. And I talk to 20-year-old entrepreneurs every single day. Lately, I've been saying to them, this Saturday, you're gonna have more time off than I've had in my entire 20s on a Saturday. So like before you tell me how you're gonna be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing. I can't wait for one of you to ask, hey Gary, but I produce great content, but nobody's listening. That's my favorite. Gary, I'm making great stuff and everybody's following all these crap heads. My stuff is great, why is it not working? Because your stuff is crap. You think it's great. Your mama said it was great, but the market didn't. Amen is right, my friend. The market is the market is the market. It's always right. You don't like that people watch the Kardashians? Tough shit. The market spoke, right? You don't like that I watch grown men run into each other for 4 hours a day on Sundays in the fall and winter? Tough. The market spoke, right? You can't decide. What is really imperative in this room is to figure out how you bring value in today's modern world. What products and services can you deploy? And where is the attention? What are you actually offering? Are you commoditized? And really, to be very frank, given the makeup of the room, do you actually even give a crap about your customer and what you're trying to achieve? Or is it just solely about what you're trying to achieve? When I really audited some of the people that were coming to this event using this hashtag yesterday, and I looked at what they do and how they do it, you don't give a rat's ass about anybody but what you're trying to achieve and sell. And it's so quick and easy for me to taste it. It took me about 5 seconds. So that's something you need to think about. Because the second you deploy selfish behavior is the second that you're losing other people's attention. I understand that you want stuff to be automated and hit one button and send an email to 100,000 people and lots of people buy. I understand that's why it's good for you. I also understand that when that's happening to you, you delete that email before you even start reading it. I understand that you want to make a Facebook ad that sells your thing, that you want them to watch the 2-minute video and buy your thing, but I also know that every time you see that in your Facebook stream, you do this. Let me tell you the quickest way to become very successful at selling something. To become very empathetic very quickly. Empathy, my friends, is the secret drug of sales. I always only care about what you're thinking. You know why you guys like me? Because I'm empathetic. You know why you guys like me? Because I'm bringing you way more value than I'm asking for you in return. You guys know why you like me? Because I look different than people that look like me, because I'm not asking, I'm giving. And so when I say to you, don't listen to what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing, that's what I mean in the macro. And then the micro, there's a reason I put 15 hashtags on every post on Instagram. There's a reason I ask you to swipe up and draw on top of an Instagram story. There's a reason I have call to actions at the end of a YouTube video. There's a reason I reply to so many of you in the comments. Watch those things. I can say anything I want, my behavior trumps it all. If you don't see me going hardcore on Snapchat glasses or VR, that means I don't believe in it at this second, but I'm watching it, right? I'm doing nothing. Let me promise you one thing. I'm doing nothing by accident. There's nothing I do for kicks and giggles. It's all strategic. It's all for me to collect data. It's all for me to make decisions on. So what I'm asking you to do is pay closer attention to what I'm doing and replicate that behavior for your audience, because you know it works because it's working on you. The problem is nobody wants to put in the work and the patience that takes. I understand why you don't want to do it. It sucks. Yet, me, who works 18 hours a day, and I've proven that to you over the last year and a half with Garyvee, me, who works 18 hours a day, who travels 500 times a year, who does all that stuff, is engaging with his community more than every single person in this room. You're so fancy you don't have time to reply to the 3 people that left you a comment on your Instagram post? I mean, seriously, everybody loves to talk about loving their community and you care about your customer. Really? Because the 12 people I audited last night, by the way, at midnight in my hotel room before this talk so I could bring you value, when I looked at you and I looked at your stuff, you're really good at throwing your right hooks and getting people into your products and services, but you actually replied to 0 people collectively in the comments of those posts. Because you actually don't give a shit. And smart winners can smell it. And I promise you, let me give you a really bad business. Selling to losers.